watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar, and today we're bringing you the show from ground zero. I'm standing outside the beautiful Buland Darwaza, which belies the state of the dilapidated buildings inside this lane. One of them, the Kaisarbi Manzil, which is over 100 years old, collapsed this morning at 11:40 a.m. 7 people have died, and there was news of at least 40 people being stuck under the debris. In the city of Mumbai, unfortunately, it's not the first time this has happened. In the last 11 years, there have been at least 17 building collapses. Over hundreds of people have been dead. Before the monsoon started this year, there was a list of over 600 buildings that the BMC put out in C1 category. That means dangerous, you can't live in it, please leave. And yet, this situation continues. It's a complex web of bureaucracy tangled up with corruption and tangled up with lack of options for people, which leads to this. We're standing here today trying to decode this mess in the heart of the financial capital. Joining me on the show today is noted lawyer Swapnil Kothari, who practices at the Bombay High Court as well as the Supreme Court. Mr. Mehta, key architect, very experienced architect who's also been in charge of the Dharavi rehabilitation project. We will also attempt to speak to people from the BJP and the Congress, because politicians at the end of the day have to remember their promises before they go to people to vote. But let me begin by just asking Mr. Kothari what we've seen today and encapsulate it for any of our viewers who are joining in now. And it was the most horrific mess of a blame game between MHADA and BMC and the Maharashtra government. Explain to us the legality of it all.
Tamanna, the issue is very simple, that the primary responsibility rests on either the BMC or the MHADA. Here the case is of MHADA because it was a MHADA building. To say that it was given to a private builder and I can wash my hands off it, the answer is no. You've given the redevelopment certificate sometime in 2012. That doesn't mean that now it's in the hands of the builder. It's also your responsibility legally as well, for the simple reason that you have to ensure that this building, which was to be demolished, should have been in the endangered list of buildings, simply because that is what the law says. 2014, there was a writ petition filed in a similar case like this. Right. A clutch of petitions was there in the Bombay High Court, and the Bombay High Court gave a series of guidelines. And both MHADA and BMC, that is the MCGM, were respondents in this. And most importantly, the guidelines clearly specified that each of these buildings, whether it is under the jurisdiction of BMC or the MHADA, have to be listed. So if somebody wants to go for an RTI information, from the RTI you can easily figure out that this building was never there in that list. That means the BMC probably was caught the MHADA was caught napping here in this case. That was the main thing. The second aspect is that it is very, very important that even if you've forgotten or you've deliberately not put it because of corruption, etc., this list of endangered buildings, you have still the power to tell the people who are the residents of this building that please evacuate, we'll cut off your light, water, electricity. Now, assuming that you have not done that, simply because there again the residents have said that, oh, we've been living here since several decades and we can't leave this building, etc. But that does not absolve you from that responsibility. And there was a similar case which I was involved in very recently. Right. As early, Tamanna, this is very interesting. This happened in Santa Cruz East. I cannot disclose the name of the client or the building's name simply because of confidentiality. The simple thing is that out there the tenants were reluctant to leave this building. Although they received a demolition notice from the BMC under Section 354, they said that the landlord needs to recompensate us to our place.
I want to talk a little more before I come to the bigger picture. And Swapnil, you're absolutely right. The problem in Mumbai is, and I want to try and show our viewers and get a sense of where we are. And I'll ask our camera to show the shots of the buildings around us. So in the area in which we are currently, and it's not only about Dongri. Dongri is in South Mumbai. Remember, some of the properties around here have the highest rates in all of Asia, if not in all of the world. South Mumbai is, the most coveted area. Dongri is at the heart of it. It's a heavily congested area, but the dilapidated buildings are all over Mumbai. Like I told you, 600 plus. So in these areas, there is a need to want to redevelop the building instead of demolishing it, because there is value to be unlocked. Shaina MC, BJP leader, is on the phone line with me. You're not in Mumbai today, Shaina, but I know that you know this area very well and you know the issues over here and you know the plan of cluster development. It's been going on since ages. Why does this keep happening, Shaina? Who's going to take responsibility?
First and foremost, at this juncture, let me please say the only agenda is to save every life, and the rescue operations are on as we speak, which are being monitored by the BMC, the Mumbai Police and the CM himself. Now, when it comes to political will, yes, of course, guilty, irrespective of whether it is a structural engineer or in a particular case, if the tenants haven't been evacuated, all of this needs to be dealt with. Severe accountability is required across the length and breadth of Mumbai, especially Dongri, where there are small by-lanes and we all know the scenario. But please get the facts of this case correct. There were 15 tenants in a building who gave it to a private developer. So the BMC and MHADA were not even a part and privy to this agreement. The agreement was that this 100-year building would be redeveloped, and this was between the tenants and the builder. Now we have brought in RERA only because when there are builders who do not comply or there are tenants who need to have their homes, a 6-month guideline is something that the Chief Minister has shown political will and understands the lacunas in the system, and that's why has enforced. But if the tenants choose not to move out, choose not to avail of the rent or alternate accommodation, or choose to be choosing to go against what the structural auditor is saying, then I think these are serious issues which also
but
need
is
to
that
be
the
addressed.
case?
And do understand,
one minute,
we
China,
came
is
into
that
power,
the case?
We've only come
is
into
that the
power
case over
recently.
here? 1 minute,
What
China.
we have
1 minute, China. 1 minute, China. Is that the case over here? Is that the case over here? Since you have
15 years
1 minute, China.
of ruining of
I
Mumbai
understand,
city.
but how many years are you going to say 15 years for? 1 minute, China, will you listen to the question? I am the one standing in Dongri, and yes, I can attest to what you're saying. Rescue operations are on. Okay, but since you question my facts, let me also ask you, you're talking about the tenants refusing to leave. Have we ascertained that that was the case over here? There's a 2017 notice where MHADA has given, where BMC has warned that there should be an eviction. Yet in 2012, MHADA has given an NOC for a builder to redevelop. Does that NOC absolve MHADA of all its responsibilities? Is one eviction notice enough? By a court order, the BMC is mandated to cut electricity and water supply if tenants refuse to move out. Was that done in this case? All of these are questions which will have to be asked. Biggest question, China, since what you're saying is correct.
That is exactly why.
You're absolutely correct.
But
why?
That is
but
exactly why I'm
Let me ask you the question. But why? Because they don't have a clear
alternative. That is exactly why I'm not jumping the gun. And that is why the Chief Minister has asked for this investigation. These are all the important questions that you are asking. Was there bribery? Was there corruption? Was there wrongdoing of the tenants or of the builder or of the BMC? This is why the Chief Minister has asked for this investigation. But do understand, in a city like Mumbai, and we all live there and we know every gully, nukkad, how it is bursting at its seams. Is this not a crucial issue that needs to be highlighted for every citizen to take cognizance of? And is there not a collective consciousness of the administration, the political class and the citizen in cases such as this? So please believe me when I say that the political
what are citizens supposed to do?
Is
What are
because
citizens
Devendra
supposed to do?
Fadnavis is the
China,
same Chief
China,
Minister
what
who
is
has made
1 minute?
the
I want to just get
people who were faulty contractors with the potholes sit in jail.
China, this is not the time to score political points. I'm really surprised you want to do that right at this point. Right now, the government in charge is the one which will be questioned. I don't want to block this ambulance here.
I'm talking about political
I'm just going to
will.
move forward. I don't want to block this ambulance. 1 minute. Swapnil Kothari, one minute. Swapnil Kothari, I want to come to some of the points, and I hope you can hear what China is saying.
I heard everything.
So I want to come to the legality of it. On paper, MHADA is saying 2012, we've given an NOC to this builder to go and redevelop. It is not our job to see whether he is doing it or not. Is the builder legally liable, or does he have criminal liability today if this building has come down?
Well, naturally, because there was a privity of contract between the builder and the tenant. Obviously, he must have signed an agreement whereby he must have said that tenants, you please move out. I'll recompensate you for moving out from here, and there'll be some money paid to you, and then we'll redevelop this building, and you'll get a bigger house or a bigger flat, whatever that case may be. So definitely, he'll be held both civil and criminally liable. He can be under the law. But I'm totally against the fact that MHADA can wash its hands off and say that, look, 2012, we've given you an NOC, now it's between you and the builder, so I don't really care whether you live or die. Because the writ petition came up in 2014, both MHADA and the MCGM were respondent parties to that. And obviously, MHADA will have a tough time saying, trust me, if I was MHADA's lawyer, I would not want to face the Bombay High Court and say that, look, by the way, in 2012, when I gave the NOC, now in 2014, if you come and tell me that this is the judgment now and these are the guidelines, those guidelines apply to me only the buildings on which I have not given the NOC or for which I am the responsible. But for the ones that I have given the NOC, I can wash my hands off. Now that is absurd logic.
No, but to be fair, the MADA chief today has said we will look into it. Amin Patel is over here. Mr. Patel, the usual voices that we've heard, we will all look into it. I've just got China NC with me, and you can hear her as well. She says we have inherited 15 years of mess in Maharashtra and in Mumbai. We know cluster redevelopment is something which the Congress has been planning for a while. It would cover some of these areas as well. Why has it not happened? What is your response to what has happened today?
The first cluster redevelopment policy which came was during Prithviraj Chauhan government, and the Bhindi Bazaar redevelopment is because of that cluster redevelopment thing. This area, as you have seen, very congested, and what you are talking to the gentleman, this building which MADA is telling we have given NOC, this 10 Tandel Crosslane building which have collapsed today was never under redevelopment. This CS number, city survey number, Kesarbai mentioned, was declared dilapidated. The front side of the building were given the vacation notice. Out of 50 to 25 people got the vacation notice. They were allotted transit camp. When these people went to live in that transit camp, to shock of their life, somebody else was staying there. So they said, if you are allotting this transit camp and somebody else is saying, please allot another transit camp. This is not 15 years ago, this was a year ago. And these MADA people never gave them the transit camp. We don't have a transit camp in South Mumbai. We need transit camp in South Mumbai. Where we are staying right now, hardly 2 minutes walk from here, we have BPT land. Thousands of acre land are lying vacant. Why don't I have time and again requested the government, maybe this government, maybe the earlier government, that we should have a transit camp in Mumbai.
No, but Mr. Patel, I want to come in on a very important point that you've made, that there was an eviction notice given. Because today the counter question is being asked that in Mumbai this happens a lot. Eviction notices are given, people refuse to leave because they know the value of the property that they are in right now.
It is wrong.
What can governments do?
It is not the value of the property. Is it that we don't have a transit camp? The transit camp in Mahul, I will request China NC tomorrow to go and have a look at transit camp at Mahul. The condition is so unhygienic that animals are not able to live there. So how people are going to, no infrastructure, no water, no light, no electricity, and you want them to go and live there? My demand from government always is that we should build transit camp in South Mumbai. We have land, we can build it. We have mills land, we can do it. Why we are not building it? What is stopping us?
Mr. Amin Patel, he is raising the question of transit camps. If there is a dilapidated building, BMC is going and giving eviction notices. He is saying in this particular case, tenants left, saw the transit camp, found no place and came back. There is an issue of transit camps.